What's going on? How you doing? My name's David the Crook and welcome to another episode of Mixing Monday, where every Monday I drop a video relating to mixing and mastering, whether it's mixing vocals, mixing beats, mastering songs, or mastering beats. But before we get into the video, I want to remind you to subscribe and drop a like. Today's video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be mixing the main vocals and some dubs, pretty much just stacking them and how to make and create space for both vocals. I have a song here, it is called Play Your Role by Fallacy. I'll put the link to the song down below in the description so you can check it out. I'm gonna play part of the song just so we can get a feel of the song and we'll go from there.
This is a family's restaurant.
Okay, that's my man. This is my man's chicken shop. This is my man's chicken shop.
She will stab you. I'm letting you know.
Hello.
Man, where's my man? Let's not do this in front of
Rock
customers.
Legion.
That boy is Benny Hanna.
Yeah, pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games till somebody gone. From the city, but niggas don't even live long. Pull your car real quick, you better play it right. I move the pack just like B-ball, pick and roll, give and go, can't knock me off my pivot though. You niggas is pitiful. I'm a demigod, I'm historical. Y'all hysterical, like some jokers though. Hocus pocus troubles, but I'm puffin' ho. Trapping like a church, doors is open though. Niggas ain't real, they Pinocchio. Watch my paper grow, that's that mail route. Play, make.
If you want to know how to chop up audio files to make your own intros and outros for your songs, let me know in the comment section. It's kind of like what we did here for the beginning of this song.
So, what have you done, man? And who is this ratchet ass cashier you got watching?
Oh, bitch, you calling a motherfucking ratchet ass waitress?
We pretty much just chopped up an audio file and just created it into our own little intro. I ended up taking off all the plugins just because we'll be building the vocal chain from scratch. This is how the vocals sound dry.
Hanna.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on.
When it comes to mixing both main vocals and dubs when it's stacked, for example like this, there's no pauses, it's just straight vocal for both of them and you gotta stack it and dub it. One thing I like doing is I like muting the dubs and then just working on the main vocal first. So that's what we're gonna be doing, is we're gonna be mixing the main vocal first and then we're gonna work on the dubs. I ended up taking off all the plugins just because we'll be building the vocal chain from scratch. This is how the vocals sound dry.
Hanna.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got.
The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna be leveling out the vocals, and one way to do that is by adding a compressor or by using some sort of plugin like Wave's Vocal Writer or WA Productions Outlaw. I personally use this one, Outlaw by WA Productions.
Hanna.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my.
And pretty much what it does, it just automates the vocals. It helps smooth out the vocals a little bit. I'm only grabbing 50% of the mix because I don't want it to sound a little bit too robotic. When the mix is at 100 and then, for example, it sustains a certain word, it sounds a little bit too robotic. So I like that blend of 50%. That way it's the raw vocal as well as the automated vocal blended in together. From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a compressor. And the first compressor I like using, and the reason I like using it is just because it brings out the vocals right in your face, right in the center of the song. And that's kind of where you want the vocals to be.
Hanna.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on.
So you can really hear the vocals come out forward, and that's why I like using RVox. You can use any compressor. So I'm just gonna use a stock Logic Pro X de-esser. I'm just gonna use this de-esser 2, and I'm just gonna go to male vocal split band.
Hanna.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games till somebody gone. From the city, but niggas don't even live long. Pull your car real quick, you better play around. I move the pack just like B-ball, pick and roll.
So because of the rapper, he does have a harsh S, so I'm doing a little bit more de-essing than I would in a normal song. It just kind of depends on the rapper. From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add an EQ, and the EQ I'm gonna be using, the first one just a regular channel EQ, and I'm gonna use this one just to shape the vocals, kind of just give the body of the vocals some body.
Hanna.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. copy in my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone. From the city, but niggas don't even live long. Pull your car real quick, you better play around. Yeah, I move the pack just like B-ball, pick and roll, give and go, can't knock me off my pivot though. You niggas is pitiful, I'm a demigod, I'm historical. Y'all hysterical, like some jokers though. Hocus pocus, draw is what I'm puffin', ho, trapping like a church.
So it kind of just smooths out the vocal by cleaning up the low end, taking out some boxiness around 378. Depending on the type of mic you have, is where you're going to be subtracting frequencies. And then I did do a boost in the high end just to bring out some more presence, bring out some crispiness in the vocals. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking for certain frequencies that I could cut out. And a cool way to do that is just by grabbing an EQ band and then just sweeping out the frequencies until you hear those frequencies that you don't want, and you could just subtract them.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone. From the city, but niggas don't even live.
That sounds cool like that. From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another EQ, and with this EQ, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add some body to it, and I'm just gonna be using a Pultec EQ. If you don't have this one, you could just use like a stock Logic Pro X Pultec. That one works just as good.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone. From the city, but niggas don't even live long. Pull your car real quick, you better play around.
So with this Pultec, what I'm doing is I'm just adding some body by boosting up some low end as well as boosting up some high at around 12K. Added some attenuation just to kind of balance out those high ends. Like I said, the rapper has harsh S's and a high end to his voice, so I don't want to push it too much. I'm just doing like a little bit of boosting. From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use Sound Toys Side EQ. I like using this EQ just because of the color that it adds to the vocals, as well as the EQ slope that it has built in within the plugin. Now with this, what we're going to be doing is, with this plugin, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be boosting up some high end, adding some drive, adding a little bit of color and a little bit of saturation onto the vocals.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all funny bones. Yeah, it's all.
From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a compressor, and the first compressor I'm gonna be using, or second compressor I'm gonna be using, is a stock Logic Pro X compressor. I like using these just because all these different compressors here, they all add like a different color, a different noise to the vocals. So depending on the genre, depending on what you're going for, will depend on the type of compressor you're going to be using. All these compressors are replicas of famous compressors that everybody uses. You could look into it in Logic. I think I might I'm gonna go through all of them just to see how they sound, and then just depending on which one sounds best on the vocals will be the one I choose.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone. From the city, but niggas don't even live long. Pull your car real quick, you better play around. Yeah, I move the pack just like B-ball, pick and roll, give and go, can't knock me off my pivot though. You niggas is pitiful, I'm a demigod, I'm historical, y'all hysterical, like some.
So I ended up using the vintage OPTO, and I like this one just because of the way it makes the vocal sound. Each one is going to make the vocal sound just a little bit different, and you really got to hear what it does. I turned the distortion on soft just to add some distortion, add some nice fullness, some high end to the vocals. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw on the CLA2 by. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to factory presets for full. I'm gonna go to full reset, and then I'm gonna turn this little high frequency knob. I just do it about halfway.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone. From the city.
And then from there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a parallel compression, and this is just gonna tighten up the vocals, just make the vocals feel a lot fuller. Because we are gonna add the dubs to it, I'm not gonna go for too much of a compression. I'm gonna do more of the parallel compression in the dubs.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone. From the city where niggas don't even live long. Pull your car real quick, you better play around. I move the pack just like B-ball, pick and roll, give and go. Can't knock me off my pivot though. You niggas is pitiable. I'm a demigod, I'm historical. Y'all hysterical.
That sounds good like that. It added like a nice saturation, a nice color to the vocals. I like using this plugin especially to add that parallel compression on rap vocals. Then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit of auto tune, not too much. I think the song is in C sharp major. C sharp major. I usually put the auto tune all the way on and then just adjust it from there.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone. From the city where niggas don't even live long. Pull your car real quick, you better play around. I move the pack just like B-ball, pick and roll, give and go. Can't knock me off my pivot though. You niggas is pitiable. I'm a demigod, I'm historical. Y'all hysterical, like some jokers though. Hocus pocus, draw was what I'm puffin', ho. Trapping like a church, doors is open though. Niggas ain't real, they Pinocchio. Watch.
And depending on the song, depending on the feel of auto-tune you're going for, you can either just T-paint it and go all the way up, or you can kind of just go in the middle where I'm at, giving it that nice human feel, but just a little bit of auto-tune to it too. And then I just mess with the correction knob, just put it about 90%. And not that it really does that much, and it's just kind of 10% off. 90% of the vocals still have the auto-tune, but you can just mess with it until it sounds cool. From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another de-esser just to de-ess the vocals a little bit more. I like using sibilants, and I use this pretty much on all my videos just because of how good it is. Not only does it get S's, but as well it gets other frequencies that are harsh to the human ear, and it just helps keep those frequencies in check.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone.
And then these are the frequencies that are being, what is it, like de-essed, I guess you could say.
The draw was what I'm puffin', ho. Trapping like a church, doors is open though. Niggas ain't real, they Pinocchio. Watch my paper grow, that's that mail route. Playmaker, got that gold bail out. Can't work for the white man, he a sellout. Call my big homie Ant, tell him bring the bags out. Soon as
and then I'm gonna use the S1 imager just to widen up the vocals. I only did a little bit of width, just push it up from 1.0 to 1.10, just to add a little bit of space, add a little bit of width to the vocals. I don't want to push it too much just because we are going to be adding some dubs to it. I kind of want to make the dubs a little bit more wider, that way everything just creates its own little space, its own little part. And then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna finish busting the last plugins, and the first one I'm gonna do is the Abbey Road's Saturator by Waves, and then I'm gonna do these after.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone. From the city where niggas don't even live long. Pull your car real quick, you better play around. I move the pack just like B-ball, pick and roll, give and go. Can't knock me off my pivot though. You niggas is pitiable. I'm a demigod, I'm historical. Y'all hysterical, like some jokers though. Hocus pocus, draw was what I'm puffin', ho. Trapping like a church, doors is open though. Niggas ain't real, they Pinocchio. Watch my paper grow, that's that mail route. Playmaker.
And then I'm gonna add some delay. I always use H delay. I don't know why, it's probably just the one I'm most comfortable with, and it works for every song, honestly. There's no need for me to use other delays. And I just put it at 1/4, cut out some low end, put the analog on 0, because to be honest, you don't want this analog on. It'll ruin your song by adding like way too much noise. And then I just sidechained it using our compressor. I did a fast attack and a semi-fast release.
Honda.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got.
And then for the delay, what I usually do is I just bust it into the vocals, and I don't want it to be too noticeable. I kind of want it to be more in the background, but I also want it to fill in those spaces, those little dead spaces. That's why I kind of just sidechain it. That way the sidechain, the compressor is able to compress all the delay, and then when the little pop comes in, the compressor releases, and then the delay comes in.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne.
And then I'm gonna add some reverb. First reverb I'm gonna use is a little plate, and this is more like of a, well, it's a plate, so it's gonna give it that nice wide open feeling, and that's what I kind of want with this beat here.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure.
And then I added an MB2 just to take out more of that plate. Is what it does if I put the high level all the way up.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone.
You could always play with this and then just make the reverb sound how you want it to sound, especially taking out the high end. You could do some pretty cool things with different types of reverbs. And then I EQ'd the reverb, just take out some of the lows. I didn't really touch the high end just because I want the high end to be in there. And then the second reverb I used is reverb by Waves. I just put vocal plate. I think it's one of these presets somewhere in here.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones.
And then I did the same thing with the MB2.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone.
And then with this EQ, I took out some lows, boosted up some mid-highs, but I removed some of the highs just because of the reverb. I don't want those high frequencies to build up that much. I just cut them out right now.
Pull up.
And then when it comes to the dubs, now that I have the main vocals mixed, I just honestly do this. Go to settings, left click, copy channel strip, and then go to the dubs, paste. And then within here, what I do is I do a little bit of tweak. So for example, with the de-esser, I add more de-esser just because I don't want the S's from the main vocals and the S's from the dubs to clash, and then just create, like, in my head I think of it like as a super S, which is like bam, all the frequencies build up. I just subtract a lot of those S's off the dubs right now.
Yeah, pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones.
And then for the EQ, I take out a little bit more of that low end just to smooth out the bass from the vocals. I kind of want more just of the main vocals to be fuller, and then the dubs just to emphasize the main vocals.
Yeah, pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's off.
And then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add a little bit more parallel compression onto the vocals.
Yeah, pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone. From the city, but niggas don't even live long. Pull your car real quick, you better play around. I move the pack just like B-ball, pick and roll.
And then for the S1 imager, because I have the main vocals at 110, with the dubs I push it out a little bit more. I usually do about like 115, 120. Just play with it, mess with it, see what works best.
Yeah, pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me Hambone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's all fun and games since somebody gone. From the city, but
and that sounds cool like that. Like Both vocals are pairing up really good, and the only little tweaks I do left is just add a little bit more reverb just to push the vocals back a little bit, and then I'll lower it and then just match the vocals with the dubs.
Yeah, pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me ham bone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's all funny games till somebody gone from the city, but niggas don't even live long. Pull your car real quick, you better play around. I move the pack just like B-ball, pick and roll, give and go, can't knock me off my pivot though. You niggas is pitiable.
And then I add more delay also.
Yeah, pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me ham bone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that.
That's how the dubs sound, and these are like the main vocal sound.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call.
So the main vocals sound a lot smoother, sound a lot nicer compared to the dubs. The dubs sound pretty ugly.
Yeah, pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they.
I could even add a little bit more auto-tune to this one. It just depends if it'll sound good.
Yeah, pull up at a red light by a red.
So for example, let's say I did and I left it like that. From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna blend in the dubs with the main vocals. And the way I do that is I just
Yeah, pull up at a red light by a red.
hear the main vocals.
Pull up at a red light by a red bone. Yeah, back then they used to call me ham bone. Niggas copying my style, look at all my clones. Versace cologne that I got on. I got real structure, y'all all funny bones. Yeah, it's all funny games till somebody gone from the city, but niggas don't even live long. Pull your car real quick, you.
So it sounds good like that. It makes the vocals sound a lot fuller, and the dubs by itself sound disgusting. They sound ugly, but when you mix it with the main vocals and just blend it in, it makes the vocal sound a lot nicer. This is how everything sounded without, when it sounded raw. Then with Outlaw, R-Box, de-esser, EQ, Protect EQ, Side EQ, compressor, another compressor, another compressor, auto-tune, de-esser, S1 imager, saturation, some delay, reverb, I'm no stranger to the drugs, I be lit as fuck, similar to a squirrel, just looking for a nut. Real niggas fuck with me and I don't really care who don't. Nigga, popping on this popular Molly, she feeling quick. Now, if you want to get your song mixed and mastered by me, feel free to hit me up on my Instagram or my website. Everything will be down below in the description. I want to remind you to subscribe and drop a like. And I hope to see you in the next video of Mixing Monday. My name's David the Crook. Peace.